The biggest point of speculation on the San Francisco roster this offseason has to be the quarterback position, especially since Brock Purdy still isn't fully recovered and the team doesn't know what they have in them. The only two healthy quarterbacks on the roster right now are Sam Darnold and Trey Lance. And while many people love Sam Darnold and are labeling him the next great thing in San Francisco, even including Matt Maiocco, who said he's the most talented thrower of the football in 49ers history. But meanwhile, the biggest investment since Kyle Shanahan has arrived on the scene is Trey Lance, and he's out here saying things like this offseason.
Offensively, defensively, Fred Warner's the most intense human being I've ever been around, and I can't wait to just kick his butt during training camp, and he won't participate during OTAs. He won't participate during the OTAs because he doesn't want to smoke.
And while this is what you want to hear from your quarterback, a supreme amount of confidence, you rather see the work that goes into it to back up the game he's talking about. And this offseason, we've seen all of that work. The first major development this offseason has to be Trey Lance working out with Patrick Mahomes and changing his throwing coach to the same one Patrick Mahomes and Jimmy Garoppolo uses. This new quarterback coach looks to be making an impact on Trey Lance's throwing motion as well. His throwing motion looks a lot more compacted. It seems like he has a quicker release. His spiral is much tighter. And I'm not the only one noticing this. Kyle Shanahan has also said this is the best Trey Lance has ever looked. And there's a couple of reasons for that. The biggest and most important thing is that Trey Lance is finally healthy. His ankles are covered, but more than that, for his throwing, his finger is recovered. His index finger, he broke it his rookie year and it never recovered fully, therefore leading to inefficiencies and inaccuracies in his throwing motion. But according to Kyle Shanahan, now Trey Lance is fully recovered. And this is something new to fans because we didn't know that this injury lingered on for this amount of time. The second thing Kyle Shanahan mentioned was Trey Lance's base and his footwork. He mentioned how it looked much more cleaned up and refined, leading me to suggest that Trey Lance is going to be a much more consistent quarterback and have a better accuracy and just better mechanics overall, because it really starts with your base. So if Trey Lance was really able to clean up most of his base issues, he should be a much improved thrower of the football. And you've seen it on the film. His spiral is much tighter, and he's been working out with a ton of guys that are pressing his game upward. Which brings us to today's topic. George Kittle invited Trey Lance to Tight End University. And if you guys don't know, this is where all of the top end tight ends around the league come and practice on their craft. They usually have some of the best quarterbacks throwing to them. This year, they have Josh Allen and Trey Lance. For me, this is big news because Trey Lance is finally working now and putting himself out there with the people that everyone had him compared to, like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. He's also able to sit back and watch what these quarterbacks do effectively and how maybe he can implement some of their game into his own. Furthermore, it's important to note that George Kittle didn't invite Sam Darnold but chose Trey Lance. And in my opinion, that shows faith in Trey Lance being the starter over Darnold if it comes to that. From everything I've seen this offseason of Trey Lance, it looks like his trajectory is upwards, and now he gets to sit back and see what he can learn from Josh Allen. And I think that's going to transform Trey Lance into another monster again, because I think right now Trey Lance is understanding he has an extremely high skill set, and really the only thing standing between him and becoming a great quarterback is that experience and just going out there and playing. So what he's doing right now is working his tail off to get up to speed and show the Niners why they drafted him so high. But for me, regardless of what side you stand on, Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, or Sam Darnold, it's never bad when a Niners quarterback talks like this.
I mean, all I can say to people at the end of the day is I'm going to do everything I possibly can to be as prepared as I possibly can to be ready to go every week. At the end of the day, I'm not going to promise anyone anything. I'm not going to promise anyone a certain number of wins, but I believe in myself, and at the end of the day, that's all I can do.
Ultimately, Trey Lance has only worked his tail off this offseason and worked out with two of the best quarterbacks just to understand what it takes to reach the top. And I think in no time, Trey Lance is going to laugh at everyone who's counted him out, because he's going to thrive. If it's not with the 49ers, I expect him to thrive somewhere else. But those are just my thoughts on Trey Lance's offseason up to this point and his recent news that he's been invited to George Kittle's Tight End University and has accepted and will work out with Josh Allen. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. It would also mean a ton to me if you subscribed and liked this video. Thank you guys so much for watching.